This might not make any sense, but honestly, you have to be comfortable with being alone in order to not be alone. And I know, yes, this sounds really stupid, but by the end of this video, you'll have a proper understanding of what I mean. First of all, what do I mean by not being able to be alone? I mean someone that gets really upset or anxious or thinks that, you know, they feel sad when they're by themselves, and they think that if they had a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, that would fix their problems. And honestly, when I was younger, I used to think this as well, but over time I learned, and I'll explain why this makes no sense in this video. First of all, not being able to be alone might cause you to be really unnecessarily clingy and depend on people that you shouldn't be depending on way too much, such as like obviously like relationships or people you're dating or things like that. You might just depend on them way too much because you can't handle the feeling of being by yourself and being bored, right? And honestly, being clingy isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just that it will most likely drive someone away, especially if it's really early on in a relationship. If you're being too clingy, they're gonna notice that and get pretty weirded out and think like, what the hell, like, you don't know this person that well. And you might think that nobody actually cares about if someone's too clingy or coming off too strong too quickly and things like that, and it just varies person to person. But honestly, I used to be that exact person who thought that there was something wrong with people who get weirded out by people coming off too strong and things like that. But honestly, after I experienced someone like doing like way too much, or like, doing too much too soon, like getting attached and like you barely even know them, you start to realize like what an issue it actually is. Because it made me really uncomfortable, because you don't really know them that well and they're acting like you do, and it just doesn't feel right. You sort of get this feeling in your gut, and you don't want to give that to other people just because you can't handle being alone or being by yourself or things like that, or not responding to someone instantly. Like, yes, like it's stupid, like doing all these things and waiting before you reply to someone, but the truth behind it is if you're always there and they don't have any time to miss you, then they're gonna second guess like what's going on. And I'm not saying like leave someone on delivered for 10 hours because they left you on delivered for 10 hours. No, that's stupid. But when you've just met someone, you don't need to feel obliged to reply to them instantly, especially if they're not replying to you straight away. If they're replying to you straight away, then don't be that guy and not reply or whatever. But truthfully, don't come off too strong when you just met someone. Like, don't act nonchalant or something, or however the hell you say it. I don't think that's how you say nonchalant or whatever, blah blah blah, right? And I know you still might not believe what I'm saying, but genuinely, if you have just met someone and, for example, maybe they follow you on Instagram or TikTok, and then you check your phone in like maybe an hour and they've sent you like 50 TikToks or something, you are gonna think like, god damn, like what does this person do in their free time? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how are they dedicating so much time to sending me stuff? Like, yes, it seems nice at first to get sent all this stuff by someone. Yes, maybe great down the line, but after you've just met someone, like, you do not want to be doing that straight away, because in all honesty, you don't know them yet. So get comfortable with being by yourself so you don't lose control or just decide to do something like that. And just really quickly before I get into my second point, which is very different to what my first point is, if this video has helped you or ends up helping you, please consider giving it a like and also subscribing, because I'll be posting more stuff similar to this. I think we're on like 2 subscribers right now, so that would be really cool if you could, but obviously you don't have to. I post every second day and it would really help me out if you did, but I'll just continue with the next point. The second thing I want to touch on is that getting into a relationship or being in a relationship is gonna definitely feel lonely at times. So if you think that being lonely or things like that, that's all gonna go away, these problems, these feelings of sadness when you're by yourself are gonna go away when you get in a relationship, that isn't true. Because when you're in a relationship, there's gonna be plenty of times where the other person is busy or is doing other things, or even if you get in an argument or something like that where you just can't message them. And if you're in an argument, that is a horrible thing to have. It's horrible to feel like, be uncomfortable with being alone if you're in a relationship, because if you get in an argument with them, then you're probably just going to be begging for them back or feel like really shit, and it's going to suck and you're going to not be able to make proper decisions. And honestly, these things aren't things you need to worry about. Like, all of these things happen, but if you're stressing about them, then it just shows that you're probably not ready and things like that at the moment. Another reason is that finding the right person takes a lot of time and you might have to wait a while. Not everything has to be instant and forced. You might not meet the right person to date. Just because they like you doesn't mean that you have to date them just because they're gonna make you not feel lonely anymore. There can be plenty of reasons why you shouldn't date someone even if they like you and you like them. You just have to, it's up to yourself. It's up to that's a personal thing, and that's up to you. And some of you watching this may think that doesn't count for them, that they don't think that, they just want anything, like they'll be fine with whatever, until you meet someone that acts like that as well. And then you realize that is a horrible mindset and mentality to have, and even to have in general, because you're not really picking anyone, you're just picking the first thing that appears. They're not really special at all, are they? So you don't need to find anything instantly. That really doesn't matter. What matters is having a proper connection and things like that. And if you're rushing, you're not going to find a proper connection. And especially, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but if you rush and you get in a relationship with someone and then you meet someone else later on that you realize, damn, I connect with this person way more, but you've just picked the first person that doesn't even check all the boxes for you, but now you've met someone that checks all the boxes for you. That's a terrible situation to be in, and it's a lose-lose, because you're either going to be hurting someone that doesn't deserve it, or you're missing out on someone who checks all your boxes. Another reason why you need to get comfortable with being alone is that when you go through a breakup, which maybe you won't have, but it's inevitable for most people, this feeling of loneliness is going to feel 1,000 times worse, and it'll also be mixed in with the feeling of that you're not good enough or things like that potentially, and all these things, it'll just be 1,000 times worse. And if you were using a relationship with someone to fix your feeling of loneliness and boredom and things like that already, then when the breakup happens, it's just gonna make that feel 1,000 times worse, which is why you're better off getting comfortable with the feeling of being alone, and not even comfortable with it, just find things to do, find what you care about, make yourself feel complete and feel right by yourself without the need to bring other people into it before you bring other people into your life and rely on them too much, because you're better off trying to make sure you're happy by yourself. So no matter who comes and goes, you'll be fine on your own no matter what.